Welcome to the Bronchiectasis and NTM Association podcast, where we're here to share valuable insight from leading health experts, heartwarming stories from people living with bronchiectasis and NTM lung disease, and the latest in health research and treatment. Please subscribe, follow us on social media, and visit bronchandntm.org to learn more. Just a quick note before we get started. This podcast series is intended for educational purposes only and is not suitable for medical advice. Please consult your medical provider if you have any questions. Welcome back to the Bronchiectasis and NTM Association podcast. Today, we continue our conversation with John Torrence, who is a seasoned traveler and patient ambassador for the Bronchiectasis and NTM Association, along with Nancy, who is planning a trip to Williamsburg, Virginia, for the 250th anniversary of American independence. For those of you who are just tuning in, I would recommend going back and listening to episode 11, titled Overcoming Challenges and Embracing Adventure, to catch up on Nancy's story and get an introduction into what her trip entails. Traveling with bronchiectasis and NTM can often be very intimidating, so we wanted to help her and others address any fears and answer questions along the way. So stay tuned into this 4-part series to follow along with her planning and get tips that might help you. Okay, well, welcome back, Nancy. I am so happy to have you. We've had a lot of interest in this story. People are really excited to hear your traveling updates. So since we last spoke, I'm just curious how you have evolved your plans for Williamsburg.
Well, let me start off by saying I'm amazed that people would be interested in my humble little story. It's not that I'm going down to Antarctica or something like that on a cruise to count the penguins, but thank you for your support and thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about it, because it is something that's really going to make a big decision in my life. I have not traveled out of the state since I became ill or since I got the diagnosis. So I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be a real challenge for me. And I have a new piece of news about it. One of my friends volunteered to come along with me so that I don't have to go alone. So I'm really, really just delighted to have her encouragement and her support. So we will be flying up together. Now, we had considered driving, changing the plans and driving, but we decided the sooner we get there, the better. So we will be flying together up there. The hotel reservation is made. I have a map of the historic area of Williamsburg. Williamsburg is not entirely historic. There's 2026 going on around Williamsburg, but I do have the walking map of Williamsburg, and it's going to be interesting because geographically the territory has expanded considerably since 50 years ago when I was there. So the walking distance will be greater, and we're going to see how that goes. Can I tolerate the walking? So that's an issue right there.
Have you done anything to prepare for that walking? Have you been trying to take any longer walks around the block or gone to maybe some classes or anything like that?
Yes, I walk. We have a Pinellas exercise trail down here, and I've been doing that for years, way before I became ill and during being ill. I really don't have any problems with walking great distances. Fortunately, I haven't had any episodes of shortness of breath. So I think I'm going to be able to tolerate this. So far as the medicine goes, I will be traveling with my rescue inhaler, and I'll have that on me at all times, just in case there is an episode of shortness of breath. But I really enjoy walking. I tolerate it well. So I'm thinking optimistically that I'll be able to tolerate this visit very well. I'm thinking of success, and I think it's going to be good in that direction. I'm uplifted. I'm encouraged. I really want to go. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's only 6 months from now.
I know. And the way the time is flying, it'll be here soon.
Well, Nancy, I'd like to add my encouragement. And I also want to reinforce that, yes, it's a valuable story for our patient group. So many people from our group after COVID, they just felt like their place was isolated and they're a little afraid to come out. So you become a role model, and everybody is very excited to see how you do. And I know you're preparing well.
Well, it seems like in our group, we do have many travelers. People have traveled. John, you traveled yourself, and there are other people who have traveled. So it's like we're a group of explorers, and we're just going out there and not let this disease lead us to a life of seclusion, but a life of fulfillment, and being able to almost continue the way we were before we became ill. But I think we're all intelligent enough to know that we have to be careful, that we have to plan and just be careful.
And I think that's the key, Nancy, that yes, we have some extra things we have to make accommodations for, but let's not give up on being part of the world, whether it's visiting family, seeing the historic sites that are so important to you, counting penguins, if that's your thing, whatever it is that floats your boat, quite literally, I think we should be out there doing it. And there's always going to be a few people that really do have issues that they need to stay home, and we can respect that. We're not trying to intimidate everybody to do this, but I just felt so bad when I heard so many people were staying home. It's like, we're still alive, and we need to be out there doing what we can. And your preparations are a testament that we can do this, but your traveling companion is going to be, part of the answer, that, she'll do certain things to accommodate. She'll allow for the time and effort you need, and you guys will work as a team. I think that's a wonderful idea.
Thank you. Thank you. I know she's going to enjoy it as well. That's what I wanted her to feel like, that we were partners together in this, and that she wasn't being a nursemaid or anything like that. She was being my friend. We're enjoying a very significant time in American history, and we'll do it together, and we will remember it forever, ever.
Right. Yeah,
Always.
It's all about the memories. That's great that you'll have a friend that can go with you. That really is. It's always interesting to reflect on how our perspectives shift over time, especially when we're in the thick of it, right? Thick of planning and all of that. So has your outlook on traveling with bronchiectasis and NTM changed since we last chatted?
I feel like I'm being more encouraged as I plan and put everything together. I think of something else, and I think of something else, and it's an all-encompassing venue. And I feel if this is successful, then it's opened up a door for continued travel, for further trips. I will plan again, very similar to my lifestyle before I became ill. And I'm going to try to climb this hill and then go forward and see this beautiful planet that we live in, and encourage other people to do it as well. I know that I've been encouraged by some of the people in our group who have traveled, and I listen to their story, and that inspires me as well. They're very uplifting, and I'm ready to go. I just can't wait. And I know it's going to be here soon. So far as the environment when I get there, I am very much aware of the fact that it will be in July, and it's going to be very, very hot outside. And also that area of the country is very humid, and that can affect my breathing. So that's why I'm very conscious about having the rescue inhaler with me. So, and plenty of water, carry water with me. And if I need to sit down and take a little rest, sit on a bench or something and watch the people go by. And then when I feel a little bit stronger, get up and walk again. So I will pace myself to see how I tolerate it.
Mm-hmm. So the more research and planning that you're doing, you're starting to feel a lot more prepared and really empowered, right?
And uplifted. I'm more and more each day. I think I can do it. I will do it. I'm going back to a territory that I know about, but I know there's been tremendous changes in the overall geography of Williamsburg, and I'll be able to see that when I get there. I'll have to adapt to that and make the right decisions.
So I recently traveled with 3 small kids to Wisconsin. So packing the car and doing all the things for 3 different ages. I found to use a app. So an app really helped me with packing and just trying to think of things that it kind of had this whole list of items that I didn't even think of. And my husband's more of the packer, but he was doing a lot of traveling for work. So have you considered using any sort of app or any sort of new tool or any tips that you've stumbled upon that would help you with this traveling or help others with traveling?
Well, Williamsburg has an app and they have a website, and I've been on that. They have been preparing for this spectacular event for years. They started way back in 2020 to get ready for 2026. So, and I have information that they have sent me. So their website has helped me tremendously again to plan, to visualize and see part of the city on the computer. They actually have a roving camera and they go around. So I feel like I've prepared myself for this.
Well, Nancy, you made a comment a minute ago about if you're successful here, you would consider more adventures in the future. And going with Alyssa's comment about the app, whether you choose to do it technically on the computer with the phone, or you have the old-fashioned piece of paper, if you make your list this time, and then during the trip, you make the list of here are the things I forgot, here are the things I have to buy at the store because I didn't bring them, you're building towards the future. So this isn't just one trip that, because you have a custom list. Your list is not exactly what other tourists are going to have, because of your situation. So figure out what does work and what doesn't. And the next trip is then even more efficient. And the key, my problem is I make a list and I lose it. But if you can figure out where to save it so it's ready for the next trip, then every trip just gets better.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. There's so much with planning. There's so much with remembering step by step by step. I mean, I've got my notebook, I've got my maps, I've got my cell phone, all these extracurricular items that will help me be able to plan the trip and enjoy it and hopefully not forget anything.
There's only a few things to me that are absolutely critical, and it might be, the medical things, the therapy things, my identification, and a credit card. I can buy my way out of trouble if I have to, if I've forgotten, some grocery store items or something. But because I don't want to stress about it either. But the list will help me for the future. So it sounds great.
Right. You make the list, and then the morning when you get up and you start packing, then you cross it off, and hopefully you've taken care of everything. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Making those lists. I love to make lists. My desk is full of Post-it notes with all the lists on it. So one of the things that we talked about during our first podcast was, airway clearance. And we know that sometimes it can be hard to kind of fit it in. And we know that walking is a really good way to have airway clearance. So we know you're going to be doing a lot of walking. But some other ways, if you forget something, or if maybe you're not able to bring, a whole vest device, or, have to get creative with airway clearance. A couple of things I wanted to bring up is just to use some sort of manual airway clearance techniques. So we don't need to have those devices, although those devices are great, especially if you can pack them in your suitcase, but those manual airway clearance techniques. So just kind of brushing up on that, the huff cough, the active cycle breathing, those types of things, but also blowing bubbles is a good way to do airway clearance. So that's not something that a lot of people think about, but that's going to help to promote the slow breathing, the deep breaths, the lung expansion. It's going to help to loosen up the mucus and push it out. So that's one way. And another way, if you, forget, or if you need another airway clearance device or tool you could use, is a balloon. So with balloons, the bigger the balloon, the easier it is. The smaller balloon, the more tension and harder it is. So even just getting a big balloon, blowing in that balloon, that will just help again to open up those lungs and just help get the mucus out. And it's something that you can buy at really any store.
That's Nancy. one of the places I've noticed failures in my own packing, I as you say, you make your list and you're putting everything out and you're packing it. But sometimes the items that I need most that are part of the morning routine, the toiletries, the airway clearance, those last minute things that I just used, I accidentally put them back on the bathroom counter. So my rule the morning of travel is the moment I'm done with something that I know I need, it goes onto my bed where the suitcase is. And everything, it keeps getting shoveled that direction. So, I'm trying to make sure I haven't forgotten everything. So, but whatever technique is working for you, I agree with Alyssa that, use whatever systems work. I think last time we talked about that you can have a travel or a medical bag that travels for free if you're on the airplane, just by keeping it strictly medical. It's good to have a note from the doctor, but usually nobody asks about it.
This will be interesting too, because this will be the first time I've been through TSA since I became ill. And it seems like, I don't know if they change their rules every day, they're getting more strict. So this is going to be a challenge when I go through there. I'm hoping that they don't confiscate the rescue inhaler, because I'll be keeping that right next to me. So if I explain to them it's medicine, I've got the original box and everything, but that I'm kind of worried about that. I hope they don't confiscate me.
That is not a worry. It's wise to have your prescription right there, the actual written prescription or the tag that came from the pharmacist to prove it's a prescription. But anything that's a prescription medicine is not subject to that 3.4 ounce limit of liquids. So, for instance, I had a medicine that made my legs very dry and I had to carry lotion with me, and it was a prescription, so I could carry it. But they did want to test it, for whatever thing they do. But I was able to get a large bottle of lotion through there.
Oh, great. Wonderful.
So yeah, they are very accommodating, but you can call that stuff out up front rather than be surprised. You can put all your little medicines and things if you think it may be subject, put it in a separate little bowl so they do see it, and they don't have to dig through your whole bag and tear your luggage apart.
Yes, definitely. Great idea. Thank you. Yes.
So, John, one of the other things that a lot of people had commented on a couple different areas was your flight to Australia. So I'm just curious, could you just kind of go over what you did for your flight? Did you decide to have the conversation about your cough before taking off, or did you feel that you had that obligation to tell somebody, to tell the person next to you about what was going on or not?
Well, I think that's a reasonable conversation. I think it depends on where you're at with how much you're coughing. And currently I'm not coughing a lot. I've had times in my, disease history where I coughed constantly and coughed with the very deep, wet cough that, your neighbors get concerned. And if I was at that stage, I would just first strike up a nice conversation or at least a hello with your seatmate first, before you don't dive immediately into, oh, by the way, I have a disease. Just a nice hello, welcome them onto the plane kind of thing. And then a minute or two later, when things settle down, by the way, I do have a cough. It is not contagious. I just want you to know right up front, because we're going to sit next to each other for a long time. In my case, that wasn't an issue. I did bring all my airway clearance things. I don't generally travel with the vest. I have a big piece of luggage, but I find I get exhausted from hauling the vest, so for short trips, I'll just do the other airway clearance and combine it with exercise that, you're out there walking and seeing the world. So that's a form of airway clearance. All that counts.
Yeah, absolutely. Nancy, do you feel that, when you get on that plane, do you feel that you're going to have that conversation with your person sitting next to you? Maybe it's just your friend who's sitting next to you, but I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts and perspectives are on that.
Well, it's interesting. I received this button in the mail that states on the button, "My cough is not contagious," and I was going to put it on and wear it, and I still am. I definitely will say something to the person next to me. I was planning to do that, introduce myself and say, I just want you to know If I start coughing, I've got it under control. I've got to bring lots of Kleenex with me as a preparation. I'll keep that in my little bag that I'm going to carry on my purse, the Kleenex, just in case I really start coughing. But I will definitely let the person next to me know a little bit about what's going on here, and not to be worried or not to be concerned.
But I would make it a very short, calm comment. Don't go into disease history. People get very concerned when you start using big words. Just, hey, I have a cough. It is not. I've had it looked at. It is not contagious. We're good to go.
Right.
Keep it all,
the less I say, the better.
It is one of those things. And there's a 1 in 50 chance you're sitting next to somebody who has some technical interest, and they may ask you a question. And if they open it up, that's up to them, and you can decide how much you do want to share. To one extent, it's good for us to educate the world. To another extent, who knows who this person is? I don't know.
So sharing experiences, can be really helpful. So you're sharing your experience right now, and we encourage other people to share their experience too. What advice would you give someone facing similar health issues, but also looking to travel, especially with you being this far in your traveling process and the things that you've learned right now? What would you suggest, or what kind of advice would you give to somebody?
Well, with it being that this is going to be my first foot out the door, so to speak, traveling, I'm going to be, it's like I'm writing a new slate or something. It's going to be different. Even though I've done a lot of traveling in the past, this is going to be a unique experience that I'm going to have to adapt to step by step by step. And I'm saying to myself, don't overdo it. Don't get stressed out. Adapt. You've been on numerous airplanes. You know what to do. Just keep a low profile and just be aware of what's going on around you, and stay calm. And that's it. And with the fact that I have a friend traveling with me, that's going to help relax me tremendously as well, because I know I'm not alone. She's there for me. So, and as I've said, overall, I'm really looking forward to it. I don't dread it at all. It's like I can't wait to get up and get going. Really.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting.
And John, as a seasoned traveler, what kind of advice would you give people out there?
Well, the comment that comes to mind is, I remember years ago, I was on a plane, and let's face it, I was probably whining about my health, just whoever was sitting next to me. And I remember this very kind lady next to me. She had this one line for me. She says, at our age, everybody has something. And Nancy, what occurs to me is, you're traveling with a companion and you're looking forward to the assistance she's going to give you, but also keep in mind, you're her friend. You're going to help her too in some way. And the other people you meet along the way, you have a chance to be kind and helpful to them too. It is a two-way street, and we do get meaning out of helping each other. So, it's not always about us, even though our situation sometimes is complex. Part of being out there in the world is helping each other.
Absolutely, John. And that's a very good point that you make, because she has never been to Williamsburg before. And I know Williamsburg like the back of my hand. So I can be her travel guide. And Absolutely. I'll show her the maps and the pictures and talk about the founding fathers and liberty and the Declaration of Independence. I'm ready to help in that category. So it's going to be mutually beneficial, I'm sure.
That's a terrific trip plan you've got, Nancy.
Yeah, Nancy, you got me excited, and I want to come. I want to come with you on your trip. I'm trying to think, okay, World Bronchiectasis Day. Could I do this? Could I make this? But that sounds like a fantastic, memorable trip, and we are so excited to keep on hearing how you're planning, and then ultimately hear the successful stories and your memories and funny stories and all the things that you're willing to share with us when you are done. So everybody just stay tuned, because we have more from Nancy coming, more stories that she's going to share.
Good luck, Nancy.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for tuning in to the Bronchiectasis and NTM Association podcast. We hope that you found today's episode helpful and inspiring.
You can stay connected by joining our online community, following our social media, and visiting our website for more resources. And of course, subscribe to this podcast and join us next time for more insights, stories, and tips to help you live well with bronchiectasis and NTM lung disease. Until then, thanks for listening and be well.